What's up, Timers here. With the release of the new Superman film, which of course I saw about 3 times already, might see it maybe one more time, maybe one or more 2 times, but with the new Superman film, I'm of course doing my ranking for the live action Superman movies. Obviously including the new Superman film on this list too. So there is pretty much 8 live action films, of Superman. So here is of course my ranking. Coming in at now, the worst Superman film, in my opinion, is Superman for Quest for Peace. Of course, I did just do my review for this one. It is one of the worst comic book movies of all time. No, I feel like this film is, let's say, I've said it in my review before. It is the Batman and Robin of Superman films. I mean, it sort of killed the live action Superman stuff until like 2006 rolled around with Brandon Routh's film. But of course, here you actually had John Cryer as Lex Luthor's nephew, Lenny Luthor. It's still pretty cool that John Cryer would go on to play Lex Luthor on the Supergirl show. That's pretty cool. But obviously, when you think of John Cryer, you always think of him as Alan Harper from 2.5 Men. So yeah, obviously this was pre Two and a Half Men and stuff. But yeah, it's just really terrible. It's so boring. Nothing about it was all that great. It's just, I mean, of course you got the character you know, uh, uh, where of course Superman takes on the global mission to eliminate nuclear weapons, and of course Lex Luthor escaping prison creates Nuclear Man, solar power clone to destroy Superman, and that really wasn't all that good either. Of course, you had like Murray Hemingway, Gene Hackman reprising his role. It's just, of course, this was the last Superman movie with Christopher Reeve in it, but sadly, it was not a good one. At least, Christopher Reeve, after before he passed, he did have a fun cameo in Smallville, which was pretty cool. All right, number 7 is of course another terrible one, and that is Superman 3. Of course, you got Richard Pryor playing Gus Gorman, a computer genius hired by industrialist Ross Webster, played by Robert Vaughn, and it's also pretty terrible. Of course, using kryptonite to corrupt Superman, turning him like evil here, and Clark Kent must overcome like his eternal struggles to stop Webster's scheme here. You of course have Jackie Cooper reprising his, reprising his role as Perry White, and it's just also pretty terrible. None about it was all that redeemable. I mean, Richard Pryor, he was okay, but he was like very. I mean, Richard Pryor is obviously a comedy legend, but here he was like really miscast and all, and it's pretty bad. All right. Coming in at number 6 is Superman 2, which is definitely far better than both Superman 3 and 4. Of course, this is the direct sequel to Superman the movie, where Superman faces General Zod, Ursa, and Kryptonian criminals to free from the offensive zone. Um, and of course, you did have like Richard Donner returning to direct. It is a really it's definitely the second best out of the Christopher Reeve films. Christopher Reeve was of course terrific in this. Obviously, Margaret Kidder, Terrence Stamp as General Zod was excellent. Ned Beatty as Otis. Of course, you have Valerie Perny as Eve Taskmaster. She was really like the girl who plays Eve in the new Superman is great, but the original was pretty good too. But yeah, really decent follow. All right, coming in at number 5 is Superman Returns. I actually enjoy Superman Returns more than most people did. Yeah, it's a little awkward to talk about nowadays because of Bryan Singer, Kevin Spacey, and whatever. But I still always so hardly had a fun time with Superman Returns. Brandon Routh really embodied the Christopher Reeve Superman perfectly. I would agree Kate Bosworth as a Lois Lane was like very miscast. I would agree there. Of course, Kevin Spacey. Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Awkward talking about him nowadays. Um, but take his like personal stuff aside, separate the art from the artist. Kevin Spacey was still a pretty good Lex Luthor. He really embodied the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor here. The always great Eva Marie Saint is plays Martha, excellent there. Frank Langella is great as Perry White. It is a really it's a really decent stack cast. It is still really entertaining, fun, and of course seeing like Marlon Brando as pretty much as Jor-El one last time was pretty cool too. But granted, it was like footage, but still. All right. Coming in at number. All right, coming in at number 4 is of course Batman versus Superman. Now, of course, Batman vs Superman, is like the first of the first time that Batman and Superman faced off together, and it's actually more better than most people give it credit for. I still always had a fun time with this one. Henry Cavill is still great, Superman. Ben Affleck, I still remember when he was like first cast as Batman. So many people hated it. Like I kid you not, one time when he was like cast as Batman. I was walking, home from someplace, and I saw like a, how in those outside bars they'll have like those chalk thing, like those chalkboards and stuff. There was actually a chalkboard that says, like, I guess someone did not like the casting at all in the bar, and so someone in the bar wrote up on the chalkboard saying, "Batman, Ben Affleck is Batman. We all need a drink." I'm like, boy, you guys probably. Yeah, nowadays they probably felt stupid for that. But hey, Ben, like I still think Ben Affleck was a great Batman. Henry Cavill's of course great. The Martha scene I don't mind as much as most people do. It is really cool, Now of course there is Justice League, but since that's more of a team up film, I'm not really counting that. So, yeah. All right. Coming in at number 3 is, of course, Man of Steel. The start of the Zack Snyder's DCU, or DCEU, I should say. Henry Cavill was a really good Superman, really more serious than the one we have now. Michael Shannon, you know what? I kid you not. If they go ahead and announce that Michael Shannon will be reprising his role as Zod for the DCU, I wouldn't mind that. I think he was a great Zod. Say what you want about Man of Steel in general. Michael Shannon, I kid you not, he was better than Terrence Stamps' Zod. That's how good he was here. Of course, Diane Lane, Kevin Costner as Ma Park-Kent. A lot of stuff you like about this one. It is a really entertaining one, to say the least. Alright. Okay, of course, number 2 is the recent one. Now, this could easily end up being number 1 down the line. But since I just, of course, saw it, so needed time to heal. But I still quite so highly enjoy this so much. It is, of course, the new Superman movie. The start of the DCU. James Gunn did a great job here. David Cornsworth was an excellent Superman. I just so highly had a fun time with this. Of course, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was great. It really felt more like, let's say, Shazam than it did Man of Steel. And Shazam is actually my favorite film of the DCU, in the Zack Snyder level DCU stuff. But yeah, Superman, the new Superman, I of course did do my review for it. I kid you not, it's literally one of my favorite films of the year so far. Obviously, that could change by the time the year's over. But yes, James Gunn's Superman is awesome. Can't wait to see more. And obviously, number 1 is Christopher Reeve's Superman the movie. What not to love about the original Superman? The music by John Williams is great. Gene Hackman was a great Lex Luthor. Christopher Reeve embodied Superman perfectly. Of course, Jackie Cooper, Glenn Ford, Valerie Perny, Marlon Brando as Jor-El. I mean, it is just like, this movie made you believe a man could fly, and that's what it was able to accomplish, and it's just an excellent one all around. It's a 70s classic. I guess you could say it's one of the movies that really put a little bit of the superhero genre on the map for most people, and obviously since then we got Michael Keaton's Batman. It really paved the way for the comic book genre, and some good, maybe some bad, but yeah, it's just a '70s classic right there. But that's pretty much it. Here is my quick rundown. All right. 8 Superman 4 Quest for Peace, 7 Superman 3, 6 Superman 2, 5 Superman Returns, 4 Batman vs Superman, 3 Man of Steel, 2 Superman James Gunn's version, and number 1 Superman the movie. Let me ask you guys, how would you rank the live action Superman movies? Which is your favorite? Which is your least favorite? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Tim.